Hey, you summoned a lesser maker. This year, I want to bring my Carnival of Chaos Skaven Warband to SDG Fest 2025. One of my other friends has been trying to peer pressure me into Flames of Orion, and as much as I don't like starting a new project before another one's finished, I need to make a unit for that. So let's do it real quick. So I was looking over the rulebook for Flames of Orion, and basically all I need is 4 mechs. I'm going to try to learn the rules while I'm there so I don't have to worry about them too much now. But basically, I want to kind of go really hard into a theme. I think I'm going to go for like a witchy vibe. Maybe even do another spider house because I can't resist. And we'll kind of see how that goes. To make these models, I did some 3D kit bashing with some STLs from Thingiverse, Cthulhu Idol, and some mech legs. And I'm going to use some pipe cleaner for some like wires and pipes, and it should give it a little bit more of an interesting texture. And I also 3D printed a bunch of guns and mechs, and I'm going to be using the 3D print supports as well, and just kind of throwing these things together. For this next one, there was a Mystery Science Theater 3000 movie that I used to watch when I was little called The Crawling Hand, and I thought it would be fun to do a mech with like a zombie hand for legs. And that movie, I mean, Mystery Science Theater 3000 is super funny, but it still kind of terrified me as a little kid. So it was kind of fun to kind of revisit that memory. I made the base 3D files free on my Patreon if you're interested in making some of your own. It's really easy to just 3D kit bash some models in a slicer and just overlap them. I had a lot of fun doing it, and hopefully by getting those STLs, you'll have a nice head start. I did a cauldron, a hand, Cthulhu Idol, and a spider house, and I'm sure that doesn't surprise anyone. Okay, the next thing I need for SDG Fest is I need to finish my Carnival of Chaos Skaven guys. I've been terrified to tackle this project for many reasons. I have different methods of trying to trick myself into doing things. This time, it's new tools. So I got some paint pens. These were a pack of 32 for $12, and hopefully I'm going to be more focused on how the pens work than the amount of models I have to paint. So I'd like to test out this theory on a little miniature, and I have to paint them for a D&D campaign that's coming up. I'm just going to test this out on the hat. I'm just curious to see how the base coat affects the paint. I just want to see how well I can wet blend with these markers. This is also a poor attempt to procrastinate actually doing the work. But actually, I'm really happy with how this is looking. Let me give you a closer look. I'm actually super impressed at how these are blending together, and I don't have to be super quick about it. I'm using the Realms of Chaos cover as inspiration for my Carnival of Chaos warband, and I really like the red horns. I started this warband a while ago with oil paints, and honestly, it took like a month and a half to dry, and I like to work much faster than that. So today we're going to be using speed paints and the paint pens to help speed everything up. My idea behind using speed paints is to take advantage of the zenithal and to establish the mid-tone and the shadow, and then with the paint pens I'll be able to do the highlight, and that should speed up the process significantly. Okay, so I just spent the first couple hours using these paint pens, and I am crazy impressed. I did not expect to get such good results. Using the speed paint in combination with them to kind of base coat everything, and then just to add texture with the paint pens, I've got to say this is one of my best painted models that I've ever painted. All right, so just as a comparison, this is what they looked like before paint pens, but after, you can tell this is one of my better miniatures that I paint, and because the pen is designed to have like a really bright color, I'm able to get really saturated look to these models. And I got all this painted in just a couple of hours because I didn't have to worry about like consistency of paint, palette. I was able to do it in bed because I'm kind of sick right now. And even despite of that, this thing looks really good. So I'm a new DM and I'm going to be starting my first D&D campaign. And one of the big crutches I'm leaning on is my terrain building. And it's just another way of adding atmosphere to your game. You get the vibe as soon as you see the board. And there are other ways you can add atmosphere too. So I've been partnering with a local company called Scented Realms, and I just happened upon them at a coffee shop. They showed them my stuff and they wanted to help out a local artist. They have a new Kickstarter that's going to be coming out called Ascent Engine, and I got it here. And basically you load in a cartridge here and then it will blow through the cartridge to add smell to your game. So if you wanted to add a vibe to a game without having to describe it, this is a way of doing it. They have cartridges for like things like vampires, crypts, cave trolls. If you wanted to have a reoccurring villain and kind of subtly hint that they're in the room with you, but you can't see them, that's a really cool way of doing it. And honestly, it's just kind of cool to happen upon a local company who's interested in what you're doing and wants to help out. So thanks to Scented Realms again, and feel free to check out their website. So I just got a package from my buddy Kitbashing. Sweet. I don't know the story behind this yet because I haven't watched his video. So I gotta go watch his video real quick. I just finished Kitbashing's video and I really love the idea of this. You should definitely go watch his video, but basically he's setting a monument on one of my boards, and it's something that we can add trophies to and kind of in an in-world way document how our games and our campaigns are going. In the next coming weeks, I'm going to be making something to send to him because this was just such a cool idea. So thanks, Mr. Chaos. Let's get back to the painting. All right, so I just finished painting this warband. We're gonna transition over to here. So, because I got these done, I can move on to the next unit. And this is my Flames of Orion mechs. And these guys are really fun. I'm gonna prime these today with some speed paint so that I have a base coat to work with. And then after that, I'm going to take one to work because felt tip pens are like you can do them on the go. So I'm going to try to get one finished on my lunch break, or most of the way finished. I do have to say, the best thing about these pens is I can just bring it anywhere. Like, I brought
one of these guys to work to paint it. It is kind of the stars are aligning here where I actually get the TV. It's nice to kind of like get in a comfy chair and paint. That doesn't happen very often. So
yeah, I really love how vibrant the colors are. I don't think I've mentioned it, but because we're using paint pens, the pigment isn't getting diluted. So the miniatures turn out super bright. Between the kitbashing and the painting, this is probably the best looking warband I have. And that's a really good feeling. And I really like how these guys turned out. I don't really get to paint sci-fi all that much. And I was really trying to replicate like seeing these mechs through red fog, kind of like in a Mars planet type world. And so a lot of the red is still peeking through, and it kind of leaves a lot to the imagination, and that's something I like. I'm not quite sure this matches the theme of the game. It's probably not grim dark enough. If I added a wash, maybe it would be a little different, but I really wanted to give you guys the taste of how these miniatures look without it. Because I think we've all seen models with washes, but we haven't all seen how models look after using pens like this. So, and I really appreciate it if you like and subscribe. Before we end off, I'd just like to read an excerpt from the Flames Over Orion book, because I think some of the words here are pretty profound. This is in regards to the rule of cool. Probably the most important rule in this book. Sometimes the rules don't exactly fit the situation, or disagreement comes up over their application. Whenever this happens, the best outcome is typically found by rolling a die to decide, or simply moving on. If something sounds or looks cool, but the rules obstruct your vision, bend the rules around it. If there isn't a rule for what you want to do, it's okay to make up one. Always be strict with yourself, but lenient with your opponent. This is something, as I'm encouraging people to go to events. I think this community is better together. And let's remember that we're all on the same team. Always be strict with yourself, but lenient with your opponent. All right. Have a good one.